was all smiles last night. Something we haven't seen from him all the time. He's been a little edgy at times in public, but he was out partying with for her birthday. Here in LA, she had a party and Justin was on the guest list. Seemed real happy.
Well, you're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
Justin Bieber, the boy wonder turned global pop icon, has always been a magnet for headlines. From his meteoric rise at a young age to his turbulent teenage years, and, more recently, his attempts to settle into a quieter, more reflective life, Bieber has been through it all. But lately, there's a storm brewing, one that threatens to unravel the carefully maintained image of a star who's fought so hard to reshape his narrative. Justin's recent public outings and cryptic social media posts have set the rumor mill ablaze with whispers of personal struggles, fractured relationships, and even hints of a legal battle that could shake the entertainment industry to its core. And at the center of this swirling chaos stands one name, Sean Diddy Combs.
That have really, people have been talking a lot about this week.
So we've talked to a bunch of people. And look, I mean, I don't even think this is a secret. Justin has basically jettisoned everybody who was in his life. His managers, his publicists, people on his team, best man from his wedding, all sorts of people.
Who was also a business partner, and yeah.
Let's start with the moment that reignited the frenzy. A night out in Los Angeles that had the internet collectively gasping. Justin was spotted celebrating the birthday of rapper Red. And while that might sound like your run-of-the-mill celebrity hangout, it was anything but. Dressed casually, but exuding a rare sense of ease, Bieber seemed uncharacteristically joyful, even carefree. Photos and videos from the event quickly surfaced online, showing him laughing and leaning into conversations with a level of charm and vitality that many hadn't seen in years. He looked like a man who had shed a heavy burden, at least for the evening. But that very image of carefree happiness is what raised eyebrows. Why people wondered, did he seem happier in these candid moments than he does in almost any photo with his wife, Hailey Bieber?
And look, Justin is a fragile guy, and I don't think that's, I don't think that's a secret. I mean, we've seen that over the years. He was, great at a point and then just went downhill, came back up, went downhill again. So it does yo-yo, but what we're being told is, he's almost in...
The comparisons came hard and fast. Social media lit up with speculation, some fans going so far as to say Justin looked more at ease with Red than he ever does in photos with Hailey. Of course, these claims might seem superficial, but in the world of celebrity culture where image is everything, such observations often take on a life of their own. Hailey, ever the supportive partner, even chimed in on Justin's Instagram post from that night, leaving heart eye emojis as if to shut down the noise before it gained traction. But it was too late. The internet had already made up its mind, and the narrative was out of anyone's control.
Done this since he's been 14. It started with Scooter, and then you said it was with Pastor before, and now it's like this new guy, and it just feels like Justin can never find anything or really be fulfilled, which is so sad because he does seem happy with Hailey, and I feel bad that she's getting all this hate. She's always got it, from Selena, now Red. It's just leave them alone. They're clearly happy. They just had a baby together. So it's just sad because he does seem a little bit depressed, but he was just at Coachella. He was having a good time.
It wasn't just about Justin's smile, though. There were deeper questions, ones that have been bubbling beneath the surface for months. Observers pointed out that Justin has been noticeably distant in public appearances with Hailey, his expressions often tense or distracted. Rumors began to swirl about the state of their marriage, with some alleging that the couple has been struggling behind closed doors. Others speculated that Justin's ongoing battle with mental health issues might be playing a role. After all, this is a man who has openly described feeling lost, even haunted by the pressures of fame. And yet, there he was on Ed's birthday, grinning like he didn't have a care in the world.
It was just an escape for me. I was just young, like everybody in the industry and people in the world who experiment and do.
But let's not get distracted by surface-level gossip. The cracks in Justin's public image point to something much more profound, a deeper struggle that seems rooted in his past. Because if you rewind the clock, you'll find a series of events that, in hindsight, seem to have left an indelible mark on his psyche. And one of those events involves his relationship with Diddy, a man who has been both mentor and enigma to countless artists over the years. Back in 2009, a 15-year-old Justin Bieber found himself under the wing of one of the most influential figures in music. Diddy, always one to embrace the role of a tastemaker, took Justin under his proverbial wing during what was described as a whirlwind 48-hour hangout. The encounter was immortalized in a video that has since resurfaced, and watching it now feels almost eerie. In the clip, Diddy can be seen joking about how he had custody of Justin for the weekend, promising the young star access to a lifestyle most teenagers could only dream of. Justin, in turn, looked thrilled, wide-eyed, and eager to impress. When Diddy asked him what he wanted to do, Justin's response was both innocent and unsettling. "Let's just go get some girls." Diddy's reaction: laughter followed by an offhand comment about Justin being a man after my own heart.
You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners. And
It was all framed as harmless fun at the time, but with the benefit of hindsight, the whole situation feels far more complicated, especially now as whispers emerge that Justin might be preparing to speak out about that period of his life, possibly as part of a lawsuit against Diddy. According to insiders, Justin has been grappling with the idea of opening up about his experiences, not just for the sake of his own healing, but to shed light on practices within the industry that many believe have gone unchecked. The resurfaced video isn't the only piece of the puzzle that has people talking. During a 2011 appearance on a late-night talk show, Diddy made a passing comment that has since taken on a much darker tone. Sitting alongside a 16-year-old Justin, Diddy joked about how Justin knows better than to talk about what they've done together. "Everything ain't for everybody," he quipped, eliciting nervous laughter from the audience. At the time, it was brushed off as a throwaway line, a bit of playful banter between a seasoned mogul and his protege. But now, with the weight of recent allegations against Diddy, those words carry an entirely different meaning.
It's so funny what's happening with Diddy because this was inevitable.
And make no mistake, these allegations are not isolated incidents. Over the past year, Diddy's name has been dragged through the mud in connection with a litany of lawsuits and criminal accusations. The charges range from financial improprieties to deeply unsettling claims about his personal conduct. While Diddy has categorically denied all allegations and maintains his innocence, the sheer volume of accusations has cast a long shadow over his once untouchable reputation. If Justin does proceed with legal action, it would mark a turning point, not just for Diddy, but for the industry as a whole.
It's getting hot.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Another layer to this story, Anne-Marie. A federal investigation into Combs has been ongoing, but he has not been charged with a crime.
But here's the thing. Justin's potential lawsuit isn't just about seeking justice. It's about reclaiming his narrative. For years, he's been dogged by questions about his mental health, his erratic behavior in the public eye, and his apparent inability to find peace despite having achieved everything most people could ever want. Could it be that some of those struggles trace back to his time under Diddy's mentorship? And if so, what does that say about the larger ecosystem of the music industry, where power dynamics often leave young artists vulnerable and voiceless? What makes this situation even more complex is the emotional toll it's likely taking on Justin. Opening up about these experiences, assuming the rumors are true, would mean revisiting some of the most formative and likely painful moments of his life. It would also mean going up against one of the most powerful figures in entertainment, someone who had a well-documented history of using his influence to protect his interests. For Justin, the stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just about a legal battle. It's about stepping into the spotlight in a way he never has before, with all the risks and rewards that entails.
And we are getting word that that these accusers could soon testify in front of a grand jury in New York, and that one accuser is from Detroit.
And yet, even as the pieces of this puzzle start to come together, there's a sense that we're only scratching the surface. Because if there's one thing we've learned about Diddy's legal troubles, it's that they have a way of spiraling, pulling in new names, new allegations, and new questions about what really went on behind closed doors. The question now is, how far will Justin go? And when he does speak, what will he reveal? And as Justin wrestles with the decision to come forward, the weight of what he could reveal is only matched by the potential fallout it might unleash. Because if this lawsuit becomes reality, it wouldn't just be another headline about Diddy. It could be the blow that finally collapses the empire he spent decades building. For years, whispers about Diddy's behavior have been the stuff of industry legend, the type of stories shared in hushed tones at exclusive parties, but rarely spoken about on the record.
And there has been a lot going on. Since November, there have been 8 civil lawsuits filed against Diddy. 7 of them accuse him of sex.
And now, with a growing list of accusers and lawsuits piling up, it feels like the dam is about to break. The question is, will Justin's voice be the one that shatters it completely? But if you think the story is just about Bieber, think again, because there's another name that's been dragged into this mess, and it's one that carries just as much weight in the world of music, Usher. And here's where things take an even darker turn. Suge Knight, the infamous former power broker of West Coast rap, has entered the conversation with allegations that are as shocking as they are damning. Knight, known for his own controversial past, has taken aim at Diddy, accusing him of exploiting both Usher and Bieber during their formative years in the industry. And while Knight's credibility might be a matter of debate, the details he's alleged are impossible to ignore.
What'd they do to him? Because there's a lot of speculation out there, but nobody, I've heard things. But what did they really do to him?
According to Knight, Usher's relationship with Diddy wasn't just about mentorship or music. It was about control. He claims that during Usher's time living under Diddy's roof as a teenager, boundaries were blurred in ways that should never happen between a young artist and a figure of authority. And while Usher has never publicly accused Diddy of any wrongdoing, his own words from past interviews now carry a haunting undertone. In one resurfaced clip, Usher described his time with Diddy as wild and filled with experiences he didn't fully understand at the time. It's the kind of admission that, in light of recent allegations, feels less like a fond memory and more like a veiled cry for clarity.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea.
And it doesn't stop there. Knight's claims about Bieber are even more unsettling. He alleges that Diddy's role in Bieber's life went far beyond the typical mentor-mentee dynamic, suggesting that their bond was exploitative in ways that Bieber may only now be coming to terms with. These accusations paint a picture of an industry where power dynamics are weaponized, and young stars are left to navigate a labyrinth of manipulation and coercion. And while Bieber has remained silent on these allegations, the pressure for him to address them is mounting. After all, silence can be interpreted as complicity, and with the world watching, every move he makes or doesn't make will be scrutinized. But let's zoom out for a moment, because this isn't just about two artists and the man who allegedly wronged them. This is about an entire culture of secrecy and complicity that has allowed figures like Diddy to operate unchecked for decades. It's about a system that values profit over protection, where young talent is seen as a commodity to be exploited rather than nurtured. And it's about the countless other voices, names we may never know, who have been silenced by fear, shame, or the sheer power of the industry machine. Because make no mistake, if Bieber and Usher were subjected to this kind of treatment, they are unlikely to be the only ones.
Right?
Nah, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it.
What's perhaps most chilling is the way these allegations echo broader patterns in the entertainment industry. Over the past few years, we've seen a reckoning unfold across Hollywood, with powerful figures finally being held accountable for long histories of misconduct. But the music industry, it's been conspicuously quiet by comparison. Sure, there have been isolated cases, but the kind of systemic accountability we've seen in film and television has yet to truly take hold in music. And that raises an uncomfortable question. How many more stories like this are hiding in plain sight? How many more stars are carrying the weight of experiences they've been too afraid to share? And then there's the broader fallout for Diddy himself. His legal troubles are already mounting, with allegations ranging from financial misconduct to deeply personal accusations that have cast a shadow over his entire career. If Justin's potential lawsuit brings new evidence or testimony to light, it could be the final nail in the coffin for a man whose reputation was once untouchable. And let's not forget the ripple effect this could have on those who stood by him, his collaborators, his business partners, and even the industry at large. Because when a figure as influential as Diddy falls, the impact is felt far beyond his immediate circle.
A U.S. judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male workers across state lines to take part in recorded sexual performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence.
The stakes couldn't be higher, and yet the story keeps getting messier. Reports have surfaced of alleged recordings, tapes that could potentially corroborate some of the most explosive claims against Diddy. If these tapes exist, and if they're as damning as some insiders suggest, they could change everything. But here's the catch. There's reportedly a bidding war for these tapes, with powerful figures in the industry scrambling to either secure them or suppress them. It's a scenario straight out of a Hollywood thriller, complete with high-powered lawyers, secret negotiations, and a growing sense of paranoia among those who fear their own names could be dragged into the fray.
About look at Diddy, for instance. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at him. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at. He has videos. He has videos of the parties. Now, what I've heard, which I don't know how much of it is in mainstream media, I don't really follow the story that much. But what I've heard from friends that are attorneys, friends of mine that have represented me before, agents and so on, is there's a bidding war going on right now.
And speaking of paranoia, let's talk about the growing list of celebrities who are being implicated in this ever-expanding scandal. Names like Jay-Z, Beyonce, and LeBron James have all been mentioned in connection with events allegedly orchestrated by Diddy. While none of these individuals are accused of any wrongdoing, their mere presence at certain gatherings has raised questions about what they knew and when they knew it. It's a reminder that in the world of high-powered entertainment, the lines between witness and participant can sometimes blur in ways that leave everyone vulnerable to scrutiny.
To not be involved with a famous singer, to not come out, here's the price. And that they're just selling to the individuals that are in those, this is what I heard, they're selling those videos. So if you're Tommy X And Tommy X is a big, big movie star. And he was at some of the Diddy parties. He was in one of those bedrooms with 3 other men, and he's happily married to a woman, and blah. Tommy doesn't want that video to come out. He does not want it to come out.
But let's not lose sight of the human cost of all this. For Bieber, coming forward would mean laying bare some of the most private and likely painful moments of his life. It would mean confronting not just Diddy, but an entire industry that allowed these alleged events to take place. And for fans, it would mean grappling with the uncomfortable reality that the man they've idolized for years has been carrying a burden far heavier than anyone could have imagined. It's a narrative that's as heartbreaking as it is infuriating, and it's a stark reminder of the price of fame in an industry that often prioritizes profit over people. So where does this leave us? On the brink of what could be one of the most explosive scandals the music industry has ever seen. The pieces are all there. The allegations, the evidence, the allegations, the evidence, the growing chorus of voices calling for accountability. The only question now is whether Justin Bieber will take the next step and finally tell his side of the story. And if he does, will it be enough to bring about the kind of reckoning the industry so desperately needs? But what do you think? Is Bieber gearing up to expose one of the biggest power players in music, or is this just another chapter in the endless cycle of celebrity scandal? And if the tapes are real, who else might be implicated in this tangled web? Let us know your thoughts down below. And as always, stay tuned. This story is far from over. See you next time